Hey there, guys. What's up? I hope wherever you are watching, you're doing well. So, I'm back with another video, and I'm gonna do something special, something different, since today actually marks the birthday of the late filmmaker Lino Brocas. And who would have been 83 years old today? And for those who are not yet that familiar about the man and his work, he's arguably the best Filipino director of all time. And personally speaking, I do rank him at the top, since in my opinion, there's never like him as an artist who also, kept with him his social awareness, and he had made his films not only to entertain but to address the injustices in our society. So that's why I keep on going back and revisit this film, since I find a lot of still applies to our present situation, to tell you honestly. So I'm going to do a little tribute to him by listing down top 5 of my favorite films of his that I do have in my collection. So let's begin. Starting off with number 5, I have here Tatay Kongnani. So this film is one of Lino Broca's earlier efforts back in the 70s, and it stars the king of comedy, Dolphy, in a lead role as Kareem, gay beautician. And the story is somewhat similar to Charlie Chaplin's The Kid, wherein Kareem is given the responsibility of taking care and rearing a child. And the dilemma ensues when Kareem starts to worry that he wouldn't be a proper, role model due to his sexual orientation. The movie might be one of Lino Broca's lighter efforts, but it still packs a serious message, if I would say, about homosexuality and the discrimination that's much prevalent at the time. Dolphy is really good, made comedy or drama. He gives some memorable monologue near the end, and for that alone, Lena Broke is directing as well. I keep going back to this one. So that's Sang Tatay Kong Nanay at number 5 again. Okay, so moving on to number 4. So I know for a lot of you guys, I think this next one is gonna be a surprise to see early on this list. But nonetheless, here it is already. So it is Manila and the Cross of Light, or Manila sa mga kuko ng liwanag. Now, chances are, even if you haven't seen this one, you've already heard about it. The story follows Julio Majaga, played by a young Bimbo Rocco, a fisherman from the province who goes into the city to find his lost love, Ligaya Paraiso, played by Hilda Coronel. And upon his arrival, he experiences a lot of degradation, all kinds of corruption that kind of too much for him at the end. Now, most people associate this film with Lino Broca. It's often considered as his best, and even more so as the best Filipino movie ever made. It's really not hard to see why, because it's really it's such an excellent achievement on so many levels. Like you have the top-notch cinematography by Mike De Leon, the tight script by Doy Del Mundo, not to mention the great performances by pretty much everyone in the cast, and all of these are sort of guided by the singular vision of Lino Broca and how he saw Manila at the time. So it's such an eye opener of a film. It's quite alarming though that some of the problems depicted are still happening today. Glad though that I have this great here in Blu-ray as a part of my collection. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the first of Broca's film that was restored and released in this format. So again, I do have it as my top 4, Maynila sa Mauko ng Liwanag. So right up next for my top 3, I do have here Insha. Insha is probably one of the first I have watched from Broca, and it was when I was starting to discover the gems of Philippine cinema. watching one great film after another. And with Insha, I was surprisingly hooked from the start to end. It's about this young woman who's living with her mom in the slums, and they have a kind of a love-hate relationship. Well, mostly hate. And then one day, her mom takes in a lover who's unbeknownst to them all, secretly has his eyes on Insha. The movie basically progresses like an interplay between these three main characters. We get to examine the relationship between Inshang and her mom, Tanya, and then Tanya and Dado, and Dado and Inshang. There is definitely a strong sense of female empowerment in this movie, in that women are as capable as men, to take control of their life. It's a woman's picture in its core, and a very compelling one at that. So if you haven't watched this, please do. It occasionally streams on the FBCP channel, or better yet, secure the Cine Filipino DVD like this. It's being sold on various online markets. You can try Facebook or Carousel. And so again, I do have on my top three in Shang. So we're down to the last couple movies on my list, and my top two is Tinimbang Ka Ngunit Kulang. This film is said to have signaled the second golden age of Philippine cinema. LINO BROCKA, having directed mainly commercial films at this point, he wanted to rejuvenate his directing career. And what he did is he aimed to make a movie for students, and the result is this movie, Tinimbang. It's about this teenage kid played by Christopher De Leon, who, upon his coming of age, becomes aware of the ills of his provincial town. The setup, you can say somehow it echoes Jose Rizal's storytelling in his famous novel No Limitangere, wherein the main character becomes increasingly aware of his society's problem and wanting to bring about change. What makes it great in my book, though, is the timelessness of the story. Similar to biblical parables, the basic message you can say of this film is love thy neighbor, and that's something that never goes out of fashion. Plus, the acting Broca was able to get from everyone in the cast. There's hardly a dull moment in the film, so this is really highly rewatchable. Hopefully, it gets restored and released on Blu-ray. But for now, I do have this Cine Filipino DVD in my collection. So we finally made it to the last film on my list, the top one. Now, this might not be a popular choice because, as you may know, Lino Broca made a lot of noteworthy films. And this one is a rather personal one. And it is Tatlo, Dalawa, Isa. It was released same year that Tinimbang Ka Ngunit Kulang was shown as well. It is a collection of three segments with different stories, seemingly all about relationships between mother and child. So this is a theme, if you might recognize, that Lino Broca had numerously depicted in his films. So the first segment stars Jay Ilagan as a troubled teenager who undergoes rehabilitation, and then ultimately he rediscovers himself. Then the second one is with Hilda Coronel. This one looks like an early precursor to her role in Inshang. He also has Anita Linda, who plays her mother, who reluctantly prepares for the arrival of her daughter's American father. And the third and the last segment stars Lolita Rodriguez as a spinster who never had a chance at her own life because she still takes care of her ailing mother. Now, this might not be Lino Brocka's best film made on a technical level, and not even his strongest in delivering a socio-political message, I would say. But he demonstrates a unique mastery of storytelling here, working with different styles. And it's such an engaging watch, each part, better than the previous one. So if you look at it, you're actually getting three great movies in one. That's why it's my definite favorite from his works. That's my top five favorite Lino Brocka films, guys, and definitely would like to hear what you think about my list. And if you do have yours, I'm very excited as well to hear about it. So please do leave me a comment down below. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please do consider. It should help me along the way. So that's gonna be all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and see you on the next one. Okay, take care and bye bye for now.